this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.
Hey, everybody. You ever show up late to the game and your friends have already saved your seat and your drink and even a plate? Well, that's looking out, and that's having your back, and that's exactly what AT&T does with the AT&T Guarantee. They know that staying connected matters, so they actually guarantee a network that comes through when it counts. AT&T has connectivity you can depend on, or they'll proactively make it right, just like that friend who takes care of things before you even ask. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Terms and conditions apply. Just visit att.com/guarantee for details. Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter, for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken.
Yeah, the times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. Built with a long-lasting battery so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it.
That's right. They don't build tech just for tech's sake. They build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh Clark. There's Charles W. Chuck Bryant, and we are here live at the beautiful Athenaeum Theater in Chicago, Illinois. Very nice. We should say the sold-out Athenaeum Theater.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chicago. We feel very loved here.
And big thanks to the Athenaeum. You guys have been awesome. And AEG, the promoters. Let's do this, buddy. Man, I'm sweating already. Good Lord, what's wrong with me?
It's a hot show. Hot show. Right, everybody?
And it's me. Let's be honest.
Well, you're a hot podcaster. Did we say who is who, by the way?
Oh, I think everyone knows.
You guys know, right, that that's Chuck and I'm Josh.
There's a svelte, handsome guy, and there's a chubby, bearded guy. We really like to keep ourselves on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Jerry is not here, I'm sorry.
Jerry is not here. That is so sweet of you guys. We get in awe every time we say Jerry's not here. And cheers when she is here.
I wish we could say why, but we'll announce it soon. She has some top secret business going on.
Yeah, that's not cryptic at all.
Yes. She's leaving us for another podcast.
That's
no,
not
I'm kidding.
true.
I'm totally
That's
kidding.
not true. She's not allowed to leave. She would never leave it.
We fired her.
So that's not true either. So you guys know how you have no idea what topic we're doing tonight? You're about to understand why. Because we're doing public relations. And before you leave, please hang on, because actually public relations is one of the most interesting topics we have ever encountered. It has it all. It has manipulative psychology. It has old-timey history. It has cool ads. It has mind control. It's got it all. It has it all. Nazis, the CIA,
it really
everything is involved in public relations. And as a matter of fact, we're sitting right smack dab in the middle of the world that public relations built. And we should say, are there any PR professionals here tonight? Yes? Well, we want to apologize in advance. Everybody be nice to those guys, the Bartman of the show.
That's right.
Sorry about that.
Did everybody get a drink? Everyone settled in? Any Malort? Did they serve Malort here?
Any what? What is that?
I told myself I had to mention Malort.
What is it?
Malort? Well, what is it? It's wormwood, right?
I was gonna guess wormwood. What is this stuff? It's made me psychic.
Yeah, it's from Chicago, I believe, right? Or at least very big here. And it's the most disgusting thing you will ever have cross your tongue.
But does it get you pretty buzzed?
I don't know, because I've never had more than a sip. And then 3 days later, I'm still brushing my teeth with steel wool, trying to get the taste out of my mouth.
Weird.
Yeah, the aftertaste is pretty special.
I got you. Are you guys on Malort right now? couple of people are, huh?
I've heard it's a hipster thing now.
I can buy that.
Give me a shot of Malort and a PBR.
And some steel wool.
Yeah.
But only artisanal steel wool. I'm sorry.
Artisanal steel wool?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So let's get this thing going. If you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website like we do.
Yep.
Just to read. You can look up PR specialists. And has anyone heard the recent one on publicists? This is tangential, but this is better. Because we like to save the good stuff for live.
Right.
If you look up PR specialists, you can find this definition. They are someone who creates and maintains a favorable public image for the organization they represent, designing media releases to shape public perception of the organization and to increase awareness of its work and goals. Sounds very nice and innocuous, doesn't it?
Chuck just started with a quote from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's not, if you read any podcasting handbook, they specifically say not to start a show off like that.
And you know because you wrote it.
Yeah. It's self-published, but still, I mean, it's there.
I think it's gaining some steam. You're doing fine. So it seems like a pretty straight-ahead job, and if you heard publicists, it's pretty straight-ahead. But the creator of PR, there was literally one dude who created the job of public relations specialist, and his name is Edward Bernays.
Anybody familiar?
Heard of that guy?
A couple of people? That's good. For the rest of you, prepare to have your minds blown.
Yes.
This guy is arguably tied for second most evil person in the 20th century. And that's really saying something, because there was at least one really evil dude in the 20th century.
I would go number 2, behind a certain German man.
There's the Nazis' appearance. That's appearance 1, by the way.
Yeah, there can be like at least 3 Nazi references tonight. So he was voted by Life magazine as one of the 100 most influential people of the 20th century, and we easily agree that he's like a top tenor.
Right. We say Bosch to Life's stupid rating system.
Right.
Ours is better. I would say top 6.
Top 6?
Top 6 most influential. Maybe top 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's not just us like hating on Edward Bernays. Are you guys familiar with the New York Times? It's a newspaper, and they write obituaries.
It's
They're
no
kind of
Chicago
famous
Sun-Times.
No, it's
I'll give you that.
Or Tribune.
All right. Which one did Ebert work for?
Tribune, right?
Times?
The Times? Really? I thought he was a Tribune guy. So, okay, all right, dude. Sun-Times. I got it.
Was Siskel on the other newspaper? Were they rival newspapers?
Oh, really?
Man, I used to love that show.
Love this town, man.
Have you seen that documentary? Man, we're already sidetracked.
About the Ebert documentary?
Yeah, the Roger Ebert one. Have you guys seen that?
No.
God, it's so good. And get the box of tissues ready when you watch it too. Unless you have no heart.
Like Edward Bernays.
If you're dead inside, yeah.
So the New York Times wrote an obituary. Edward Bernays lived to be 103, by the way, because the most evil ones do.
Right.
Mr. Burns, Dick Cheney,
right.
They all develop like a huge hump and like claw-like fingers, and that kind of thing. Edward Bernays was among them, lived to 103. And when he finally died, the New York Times wrote an obituary, and I think they try to be hard-hitting yet polite.
Right.
So this is the most polite that the New York Times could possibly be. They said that Edward Bernays was, quote, either a benefactor of the human race or someone who had a lot to answer for. They left off in hell at the end.
I'm sure his relatives were like, that was nice.
Yeah, at least he was in the Times, I guess.
So he, because he lived so long, his career literally spanned from World War I, not World War II, World War I to the beginning of the information age in the mid-1990s.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of influence, to say the least. Yeah. Man, I hope you do that like 8 times tonight. So he's a very controversial guy. And what he did was he realized early on that he could lift, weirdly enough, he could lift a lot of his practices from Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
Freud came along and he said, there's this thing called the self, these unconscious desires and fears that all of us have. We don't know about them because they're unconscious. And it's a thing with every human being. And Bernays said, you know what, I think I can use that to manipulate people into being interested in products. And Sigmund Shlomo Freud, by the way.
Yeah, did you
Anyone
know
that?
his middle name? It's true.
He didn't go by Shlomo.
He was very much ashamed of his middle name.
And so he basically lifted this stuff, this fear and desire, and preying on that because he was his uncle.
So Freud was Bernays' uncle. And we call Freud Uncle Shlomo for the rest of this podcast.
If you get confused, just remember that. Uncle Shlomo equals Sigmund, or greater than Sigmund Freud.
So Uncle Shlomo was fairly innocent in this whole affair. Like, basically, as far as psychology goes, he just basically stumbled across the self. This idea that we're all driven by selfish desires that we're not aware of, and that we all subscribe to a herd mentality. And that, like, you guys all care what the group thinks more than anything else, and that's how you think, and same with us and anybody, right? And so this is what Shlomo came up with. And it was a big deal. Like, up to this point, like, people didn't talk about their feelings. They didn't think about their feelings. They certainly didn't think that they were driven unconsciously, like automatons, by these crazy desires. And the first thing Bernays thinks of is, like, that'd be a great way to sell to people.
Exactly.
I think I can exploit that and sell more stuff.
So if you think about like the advertising you see every day today, it's a different world than it was back then. Back in the day, advertising was very straightforward, and it literally just advertised how a product worked as it should. Like you would see an advertisement about a car, like the new Ford runs like a car should run. And it looks like this, and it gets you from point A to point B. Good night.
That's all you need.
Or the Kenmore blender, it really blends well. That was advertising.
Yeah, and maybe in like the more expensive ads, there'd be like a hand-drawn finger pointing at you.
Sure.
And it was a U in all caps with some exclamation points saying like, you buy this morphine because it'll give you the buzz you're looking for, you know? That kind of thing. But it was based on this idea that you were a rational actor in charge of your own decisions, and that you would want to buy this if it was explained to you that the Ford was the best choice for you. It treated you like a human being, in other words. When Freud came along, he came up with the self, and then Bernays figured out how to hijack it. All that went out the window. And all of a sudden, we were all kind of slaves to these selfish desires.
Well, yeah, think about the ads you see now. If you can find an ad that doesn't prey on some fear or desire, it's either you've had a rough day, indulge in that Ben & Jerry's, Chuck.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed that Ben & Jerry's ads now say Chuck at the end of all of them?
They know their audience. Or a fear, or you deserve like the sports car, like all these things that, you deserve all this stuff because you work hard.
You're getting old. Don't you want to stay relevant? Buy the sports car. All of your friends are going to Tortuga and having fun. Why aren't you?
Right. Would you like to stay relevant? We have a product for you that will help you feel young again.
Right. Or at the base of it all, use this mouthwash or you'll die alone.
Right.
Which is kind of accurate as far as advertising goes.
And back in Bernays' day, the reason they had ads like that is because you literally used something until it was done back then. Like you drove your car until it quit running, or you had your blender until it quit blending. There was no such thing as buying the new version of the thing you already have. And I know no one here has a phone in their pocket and another phone at home that still works. It's gathering dust.
It's not the new model.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a completely new thing to buy something before it had worn out. After World War II, manufacturing kind of dried up, and they were kind of worried. They were like, we've sold all of our stuff, and everyone's got everything they need. So they were like, well, we need to think of new ways to sell things to people.
Yeah, we need to sell
Bernays.
people stuff that they don't need.
Exactly.
And the best way to do that is to prime those unconscious desires, to prime those unconscious fears, and then in the next breath say, and by the way, this product will fulfill all of your desires or will vanquish all of your fears. And people came to identify themselves with products. And all of that is, frankly, because of Bernays. So basically, all of the weird, quiet maltreatment that every living person in the Western world undergoes on a daily basis can almost without hyperbole be laid at the feet of Edward Bernays.
That's right. He invented
it. Do you guys get this now?
Right. So he had a super long career, like we said, and he worked, I mean, this is just a smattering of people he worked for. President Eisenhower. I think he worked for like 5 or 6 presidents.
Do we have any Eisenhower fans in the crowd? You liar.
Thomas Edison was a client.
All
Right?
right. Wow, that really is an Eisenhower fan.
Henry Ford was a client. Samuel Goldwyn of MGM was a client. Eleanor Roosevelt. And those were just a few. And reportedly, this is Nazi reference number 2, reportedly Hitler wanted to hire Edward Bernays to run his propaganda wing, and he turned him down. And we can't find really good verification of that. So what we think, because we've studied Edward Bernays, is that he actually cooked that up to tell people, like, I turned down Hitler.
To make himself look good. We uncovered some Edward Bernays BS.
He wanted me, but, I had some other clients.
So whether that's true or not, there's actually, if this floats your boat at all, guys, if you leave this place thinking like, I really want to know more about this, go check out this really cool documentary called A Century of the Self, right?
Yes.
It's a
great.
4-part BBC documentary, and it delves into a lot of this stuff. And it keeps going even further beyond that. But one of the things that's featured in this documentary is newsreel footage of Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister.
Nazi reference 3. 3 of 3.
Is this it?
Yep. You get no more Nazi references.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
This is the end of the road with the Nazis. So Goebbels is talking on film about how much he admires Edward Bernays and his writings and ideas, and how it's directly influenced the Nazi propaganda machine.
Again.
Yes, I like those gasps.
No, do the thing. Yeah, there we go. He was the first person to use polling, like to poll the public and tell the public what everyone should think about products. He was the first to use expert opinions, 9 out of 10 dentists say blank. He was the first person to do that. He was the first person to use product placement in movies, and TV and films. And he had a really great knack for getting lots of different people to write him big checks for the same work. Smart guy.
Yeah.
He was very wealthy too, by the way, because of this. So, for instance, he had at one point William Randolph Hearst, the great publisher, newspaper and magazine publisher, came to Bernays and he said to Mr. Bernays, I feel that we're selling a lot of magazines to men.
That's a great Hearst, by the way.
But I think women would like to read magazines as well. So how can I sell magazines to women? I haven't a clue, sir. And he just went weirdly British all of a sudden. So bad, my impressions.
I think it's a great Hearst.
I appreciate that. So he went to Bernays, and Bernays said, "You know what? Here's what we'll do. Let's start putting ads in magazines that cater to women, like diamonds. Women love diamonds, right? So let's put diamond ads in your magazines." The diamond people were his client, so he was like, "I got 2 checks now."
Yeah, but why stop there?
Yeah, why stop there? Let me get let's put like a famous actress in there in these ads. No one had ever done that before. And let's get like Clara Bow, and let's put her in these diamonds in the magazine. Clara Bow was also a client. So he's getting 3 checks for the same stupid diamond ad to sell the same stupid women's magazine.
Yeah.
And then women's magazines were a thing. I'm not saying that's bad. They're great.
Right. Yeah, this is not about women's magazines.
No. That'd be weird. But before all of this, before he gained his massive amount of wealth and influence, he was just a little bitty regular baby, because babies aren't evil. I
think he might have been an evil baby, now that you mention it.
All babies are good.
I don't know about this one.
At least for a few weeks. He was just a little baby born in Vienna, Austria in 1891. One of 5 children of Eli Bernays and Anna Freud Bernays. And this part always melts my brain, how it works out with the relationship with Shlomo.
Shlomo.
So I need you to explain, because I can never get it right.
Okay, so Bernays' mother was Freud's sister, and Bernays' father was Freud's wife's brother. So it sounds gross, but
Their
it
minds
really
are like,
actually
I have no
isn't,
idea what that means.
There was just some sibling swapping going on, which is legal in all countries.
It seems like incest.
But it's really not. It's fine. They were just tight-knit family.
That's right. So by 1912, he made contact with Uncle Shlomo through the years. He visited Vienna, and he eventually moved to New York, and then visited his uncle in the summers. But eventually, in 1912, he graduated from Cornell University, and he had his first gig to sort of influence what his career would be when this producer of a play came to him, and he said, I've got this play, and you're a young upstart person that thinks you know what you're doing. And I'm not selling many tickets, and I could use your help. It's about this couple with syphilis. It's called Damaged Goods.
Seriously.
And no one's coming. And I can't for the life of me figure out why. People aren't lined up around the block at the Athenaeum Theater.
Chuck is totally serious about this, too.
It might have played here. This place has been around for since the early 1900s, right?
104 years. Yeah.
No reaction whatsoever.
No.
No respect for anything
They're
old.
like, had you said 105, maybe.
Right. So he goes to Bernays and he said, I need some help selling tickets. And Bernays said, you know what we'll do? I have a little plan. Let's make this not a dirty thing. Let's get out in front of this. Because you know what? We should be talking about syphilis because it's a problem. Everyone's got it.
Everybody had syphilis at the time.
And you're brave enough to do a play about it. So get out in front of it, and let's make this part of the national conversation. And he engineered, well, it wasn't a huge play, let's get real. But he engineered a little campaign, and all of a sudden it started selling tickets. So he had his first little, feather in his cap, basically.
So, and all that sounds fine. It sounds great. Like he was the first person to use, let's get out in front of this as a phrase. Or he started a national dialogue or whatever about syphilis, which is a good thing. And this is very Bernaysian, right? So you think you're distracted over here by the good that it did. But really, if you look at it, he just did the whole thing totally cynically to sell tickets to this play called Damaged Goods.
Yeah.
And that was very Bernays.
So he wrote a book, his first book in 1923. It was called Crystallizing Public Opinion. And he was really excited to send it to Uncle Shlomo because he'd used his work to influence him. And he sent it to him. And he didn't get he got a very Shlomo-lian response.
So do you guys know Shlomo hated America?
We should change that. No more Freudian.
No,
Shlomo-lian.
Shlomo-lian. You have to add an extra L. Shlomo-lian.
Yeah, Shlomo-lian.
Try and say it without the extra L. It's impossible.
I'm not even going to try.
Right. So Shlomo writes him back and says, he says, I have received your book, Ellipse, which is not good, in a letter. As a truly American production, it interested me greatly. And he went. Right? And everyone knows Freud was psychic. So when he did that when he wrote the letter, and then while Bernays was reading it, he did it again because he knew he was reading it right then. And it would really drive the point home. He was not satisfied with just an ellipse.
No, he was not. But that takes a lot of effort to actually write the ellipse. ...
Yeah.
Yeah. With a feather and all. Oh, no, wait. I guess he had pens at that point. So Freud was, he was a little cool. No?
No, they had pens.
Okay. Oh, no on the joke?
I thought it was a great joke.
Great.
I didn't realize it was a joke.
So yes to everything? Okay, good. So Uncle Shlomo wasn't super impressed, which it bothered young Edward a little bit, young Eddie. And but it came back to roost a little bit when Shlomo came upon hard times because apparently he did make a windfall of cash.
No, he did.
Well, at first.
The Austrian economy fell apart and inflation went through the roof and his bank accounts just went and he found himself broke.
Right. So he needed some dough and little Eddie helped him out and he said, you know what, let me help you get your works published in America.
Which again, sounds nice, but Bernays retained the publishing rights in America.
That's right. And didn't he actually tried to get him to write articles for one of the new women's magazines, Cosmopolitan.
Can you believe that? Like Freud came that close to writing a column in Cosmo. No, seriously.
How to satisfy your man in 5 easy steps.
Number 1.
Stroke his beard.
Yeah. Smoke a cigar.
Ooh, the cigar is not always a cigar.
No, especially not in Cosmo.
Well, and actually, didn't someone give someone a box of cigars in this transaction?
So when Bernays sent Freud a box of cigars, Freud sent Bernays a book of his general introductory lectures, which is what inspired all this in Bernays.
He actually sent him a box of cigars,
Right.
non-ironically.
And can't you just see Freud just hypnotizing himself, shaking this box of cigars, just trying to convince himself a cigar is just a cigar. He was a sicko.
Yet I can't put it in my mouth for some reason. Wow. All right, 1928, he writes a second book. And at this point, he's not even trying anymore. He calls it Propaganda.
That was the name of his second book.
Which was the original name for PR, literally. And he was like, you know what? Maybe we should change that. So he invented the term propaganda, PR, because propaganda he thought kind of had a bad rap.
And it had a bad rap because of number 4, the Nazis.
Yeah. I knew he could do it.
So he said, he was interviewed when he was 100, and he said, propaganda had a bad name, so I made up a new one, called it public relations. His word.
Right. So you actually read Propaganda, right? Or a lot of it?
I read a lot of it. It's not a long read, but it's if I wrote a blurb for it, I would call it a brilliant, despicable read. Because the title gives it all away. It's basically a handbook on how to manipulate people on a massive scale. And I think he used the words like dope and stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of the things, we're putting Bernays down. He hated you guys.
Yeah.
He hated us. He hated all of us. He thought people were generally sheep.
Yeah.
Unreflective. He used the words stupid and dope a lot. And for example, in the book Propaganda, he mocks the spread of literacy and says that it just makes it easier for the average person to read an ad.
Right?
That's a jerk.
Do it again. I've never had this much control over you.
I know. I feel like a marionette. My fingernails hurt so bad.
You're soaking too long.
It's not the soaking part. It's the filing and gouging.
Did they ever say, sir, it looks like you just had a manicure?
No, they're not allowed to talk.
Okay. So Bernays had this thing where basically he saw society as a very and he was kind of right, this hierarchical view of society where he thought there's a bunch of dummies out there and they need the select few to guide them in the right direction and to narrow the choices down because we're all just big dummies. We can't decide. If we have too many choices, that's no good.
Yeah, more than 2 political parties, what shall I do?
Yeah, pretty much. And so he said, you know what? I'm gonna use my uncle's stuff. I'm gonna influence these people. I'm gonna narrow the choices down because we're all big dummies. And if you have a limited number of options, then you're more likely to choose the one who is writing me a check.
Right.
Pretty much.
He actually used the phrase "the hallucination of democracy," which he would describe what we're living in right now. This idea that all of us have some sort of say in this participatory government. But really, there's an elite group that's actually running the show. So basically...
And I'm one of them.
Right, well, we both are.
Oh, no, not me. Bernays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So anyway... There's this idea that any crackpot theory you've ever heard where there's people running the show or there's an elite shadowy group, this guy's writing the book on this and he's saying not only is this real, here's how it's done. Here's how to do it more effectively. And the idea was that there were people who were working behind the scenes because one of the really important things that Bernays figured out was that no matter whether we're all stupid sheep who have follow a herd mentality and don't think for ourselves and are driven by violent, selfish, sexual, repressed desires that we're not even aware of, we don't like to be pushed around.
No.
So we don't like to get the idea that somebody's telling us what to do or that we're being manipulated. So all of this working behind the scenes has to happen behind the scenes. We can't know what's going on. So all of this stuff has to be happening at what you would call basically a very high level.
Yeah.
Where even say the media is manipulated. They're not even on board at this point. And again, I know we sound crazy, Just hear us out.
He was not very well liked even within his own profession. He was well liked socially because he lived in New York and he was super rich because he got all these people to write him big fat checks. And he threw these big lavish parties and was sort of a socialite because he loved making these contacts because then he could then manipulate them and use them later to his own end to get big fat checks written for him.
That's networking.
Okay. Which you're not into. You even admitted
No.
that. So he threw these big parties, but even his own, he created a profession, and the people that benefited from having those jobs didn't even like him because he was such a blowhard. He was his own biggest PR guy. And here's a quote though from one of his clients that I think, this is foreshadowing too. As a United Fruit executive said that everybody in the company hated him. We didn't trust him. We didn't like his politics. We didn't like his fees. But the sense was that we were definitely getting our money's worth.
And that's how he existed for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was a master at what he did.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It sounds so insulting, but he was right, which really just drives us crazy while we're researching them. We wanted him to fail at every effort, but all he did was succeed.
Yep.
And it was so maddening.
So he was extremely good. He was the guy who created the basically exploiting what he called special pleaders, people that the rest of us trust, their opinions, that kind of thing. He would go up and be like, how much will it cost for me to buy your opinion? And he would come up with things like you said, 9 out of 10 dentists agree.
Sure.
Or something called the calculated simulation of enthusiasm, what you might call like a flash mob today.
Yeah.
Or grassroots kind of stuff that's actually astroturfing, that kind of stuff. And he was just a master at this kind of thing. And the best way we figured out to get Bernays across is to kind of go through what we like to call Eddie Bernays' greatest hits.
Right.
Hey everybody, I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter, for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken.
Yeah, the times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. Built with a long-lasting battery so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it.
That's right. They don't build tech just for tech's sake. They build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
Prongs to success.
Right.
Because what we learned in researching this was he would not attack something with one idea. He wouldn't say, maybe we should do this. He'd say, let's do these 5 things or these 2 or 3 things and come at it from all these different angles. Behind the scenes, no one will ever know.
Right, and he was really, really good at his job.
Yeah.
As evil as he was a hard worker.
So cut number 1 on Eddie Bernays' All My Best, Prongs to Success, is Veneta hairnets. Everyone here supports Veneta hairnets, right?
Right.
Everyone, I thought I saw a few hairnets in the audience. No hairnets. World War I, hairnets were a big thing for a little while. And after World War I, women started cutting their hair in a bob, and they didn't need the hairnet anymore. And it was a big problem if you make hairnets.
Especially if you were a company called Veneta.
Yeah.
Because they were the industry leader of hairnets, right? And so they hire Eddie Bernays, and they're like, do something. You have to do something. We're losing so much money. And Bernays is like, calm down. I got this. And he went to work.
What'd you do? I missed that.
I went like this.
Oh, okay.
So Bernays, he applies his typical Bernaysian stuff, and he looks around and he says, who do people who wear hairnets listen to? This one's kind of a stretch, but he identified artists as the special pleaders in this case, right? So we went to some leading artists and said, hey, don't you think hairnets make women look beautiful? And they're like, oh, God, no. Have you seen a woman in a hairnet? Are you out of your mind?
It's really
and then
weird
Eddie
looking,
Bernays did his patented make it rain thing. So he just went like this with a bunch of cash and an artist, top artist, and the artist said yes. As a matter of fact, they're awesome.
It's probably Clara Bow,
Clara
actually.
Bow, yeah, her artist friend.
So that's prong number one.
So yes, so
Make it fashionable.
And these artists are saying now everywhere they go that hairnets give women a Greek coiffeur look.
Whatever that is.
Stupid words. I'm sure Bernays was like, I can't believe that's what they said. But still, so there's artists saying this, and now all of a sudden the media who pay attention to the art beat are starting to hear all these artists talk about hairnets. And it's all because one or two top artists said it, and now all these other ones, following their herd mentality, are parroting the same thing. Then the media picks it up. That's prong one.
Well, he's also got the media in his hip pocket, and he's calling people and saying, have you noticed everyone wearing these hairnets?
Yeah.
You might want to write a little story on it in Cosmopolitan. That's all I'm saying. So that's prong number one. Prong number two is he went to manufacturers and factories and said, it seems really dangerous to me that these women are working in your factories because they could be pulled into that lathe. And that's, have you ever seen an?
Have you ever seen one of those pictures?
Very, very dangerous. And a head pulled into a wood lathe is no good. So if you wear a hairnet, it solves all the problems. And so they got manufacturers and factories to say, you know what? Everyone needs to have a hairnet. All these women, and I guess men with long hair, which there were probably like 3 guys.
Maybe 3.
Post-World War II.
Right.
That had World War I even, that had long hair. And all of a sudden he's got 2 prongs. Look good, be safe. Veneta hairnets. Sold a lot of hairnets. Wrote a big giant check.
Right, because women all of a sudden were picking up the paper in the morning, reading about how all these artists were talking about how great women look in hairnets, and then after work they were going to like the union meeting and hearing about how safe hairnets were, and they're thinking, maybe I should grow this bob out. And all of a sudden Veneta hairnets are back, baby! All because of Edward Bernays. It was a big success. It wasn't his first, but it was a big one.
Yeah. Cut number 2, Edward Bernays, all my best. Let's get in the Wayback Machine.
Oh, yeah.
All of us. We're in the Wayback Machine.
So the Wayback Machine is imaginary.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys.
I know.
Surely you knew that, right?
We actually have room to bring out a DeLorean behind us.
We had the room, but not the money.
So we're on the Wayback Machine. We're traveling back to 1929. When it was a taboo for women to smoke in public. It was, women would kind of have to hide their cigarette smoking at the time.
It meant like if a woman, if she smoked, she poked. You know what I mean? That's not me saying it. Like, this is the social taboo. I'm just putting it in.
No, that was you saying it.
I'm not saying that, like.
You just said it.
But that's.
He's quoting, but not quoting.
I'm just trying to put it in easily approachable terms.
But he's right. I kid. That was literally like if you smoked and you were a woman out in public, you were sort of promiscuous, maybe. So
that's another way to put it. That's a much, much better way to put it.
So he was hired by the American Tobacco Company by a man named George Washington Hill of American Tobacco.
A.K.A. Foghorn Leghorn, apparently. That was no Hearst.
And he said, I say. Mr. Bernays, we're selling an awful lot of cigarettes to men, but I think we can kill roughly twice as many people if we sell them to women. I got these lucky strikes and they're not flying off the shelf. So what can you do, sir? I got a check.
Right? Bernays goes, he's still young. It's funny because every time I go like this, I actually in reality have to go like that. So I feel like a jackass.
No.
Bernays got on it, right? He was like, yes, this is BS. That women can't smoke because of this social taboo, and that you can't sell twice as many cigarettes because of this stupid social taboo. So I'm going to go break the social taboo. So Bernays, working behind the scenes, contacted a friend who was an editor at Vogue and said, give me a list of debutantes. And they should be good looking, but not modelly looking, because I want what I'm about to hatch to seem very grassroots, right? So he got his hands on this list, got these women together, and said, hey, how would you like to single-handedly advance women's rights? And these girls were like, let's do it. Yes, I'm ready. I've burned my Vanita hairnet and I'm ready to go. And so he said, this is what we're going to do. In New York, they have an Easter parade every year. Still do. And this year, on April 1st, 1929, all you gals are going to be out there on Fifth Avenue. And right in the middle of this Easter parade, you're all going to light up at once. And it'll be called, we'll call it, no, I don't know, just thinking off the top of my head, the Torches of Freedom campaign. And you will put women on the map. And the women said, let's do this.
Yeah, he did. He literally cast them from an agency. And I think he said he wanted to, not too good looking, because we don't want to give ourselves away.
Yeah.
But I still want some good looking broads, right?
They can't be dogs or anything, you know what I mean? That was Bernays saying that.
That was Edward G. Robinson. See?
Yeah, no dogs, see? Don't even think about it.
Too pretty, not pretty enough. Just right.
Stop wasting my time. That was a lot of Edward G. Robinson.
So, he concocted this Torches of Freedom parade. He, of course, like he always had the media in his hip pocket, he leaked it and said, you know what I heard? I heard there's some women that are going to, smoke in public.
And you know what that means.
Right.
Oh, Chuck! You are so lucky this is an audio podcast.
I learned that when I was 9. That's literally the safest way to portray that.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. You just took all the heat off of me.
Better than saying poke.
You guys are going to leave tonight and be like, Josh is great, but that's Chuck.
Yeah.
He's edgy.
I didn't think he was that dirty.
His beard makes him seem so approachable.
All right, so that was prong one, and it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
The international press, they were papers in Paris, France, writing about these women. Well, in France, they all smoked all the time. So probably not in Paris. But international press picked this up, and it was a big thing all over the world.
Yeah, these women are smoking, and now in the press it's equated with women's rights. So
You've come a long way, baby.
Yes, that came later, but yes, basically the same sentiment, right? So this idea was now, if you oppose women smoking, you overtly opposed women's rights. The gauntlet had been laid down in secret by Edward Bernays, right? So like Chuck said, that was just prong one. Prong two was, he was a research animal. He made us look like human garbage as far as research goes, right? This guy put everything he had into research, and he figured out that there were a lot of problems men had with women smoking. And so he hired a nurse to go around the country to teach women to smoke better.
Because who else would you hire but a nurse?
Yeah, well, that's who people trust.
Right?
I mean, if you're going to learn about smoking, you learn it from a nurse, right?
Do it right.
That's where everybody here learned to smoke.
So her name was Florence Linden. She was a former actress and nurse. And so she went around to the Society of New York State Women and garden clubs and all these things to teach etiquette smoking to not annoy your husbands. And he actually did research and some polling to find out what really annoys you about when your wife or girlfriend smokes. And there are some real answers. This is not made up. Pet peeves. Number one is the messy way they open the packages.
which apparently was like with their teeth or something.
Yeah. Really bugs me. Number 2 was the affected mannerisms, how you smoke. It's all like showy and stuff.
Like this.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Right.
Bernays invented that. He made Andrew Dice Clay's career. Number 3, puffing like a steam engine. There's just too much smoke when you're smoking.
Like hot boxing, basically.
Hot boxing's different. I went to college. Number 4 was lipstick smears. You smoke and you get like that lipstick I make you wear gets all over that cigarette filter. It's really annoying. I don't want to see it in the ashtray.
No, it's not funny.
So those were literally the feedback. They also actually, because I figured they had to make it equal, so they had said what annoys you women when your men smoke.
Right.
And
at the end of the story, they'd be like, "Oh yeah. Wait, hold on."
Sure.
Yeah.
We got to ask you too.
And they would find out.
Yeah, and that was when you men put their cigarettes out on their dinner plate. Was number 1. And number 2 was when they are just smoking and they just run it under the faucet and just drop it in the sink and leave.
But Miss Linden, equal opportunity sexist, she taught everyone that if you are smoking in bed, you should use a closed ashtray.
Right. All of
Makes
us.
sense.
It's just smart. That's prong number 2. Prong number 3 was he did research again and found out, did some surveys that women didn't like Lucky Strike green, the color of the package. It wasn't the color of the day. It didn't match anything they wore. So they didn't want to carry around the cigarettes. So what did he do?
He made green fashionable, basically single-handedly. He threw green balls. He made sure that all the department stores had green gowns in their windows. And now all of a sudden, Lucky Strike green was the color of the season, thanks to Edward Bernays' third prong to sell cigarettes. And it was totally and completely successful. Foghorn Leghorn went to sleep every night on a bed of money, and Edward Bernays' hump grew 3 times.
All right, not a prong. Another cut from the album, Bacon for Breakfast. Anyone here eat bacon this morning? You want to know something? Bacon was not a breakfast food until Edward Bernays came along.
Yeah.
Serious, I know, right? Oh, poor bacon.
I feel so bad for that part of the pig.
We just ate it at lunch and dinner. Bernays came along because he was hired by the Beechnut packing company who made bacon. And they said, we're selling a lot of bacon for lunch and dinner, but
not enough.
Yeah, it sure would be nice to sell it for breakfast. What can you do for me? I have a big giant check and a pen.
And he said, let's see, who do people listen to when they're thinking about their diet? Doctors? Sure. If I write a big enough check, I could co-opt a doctor. And he did. He found a doctor who wrote a study saying we should all start eating hearty breakfasts featuring bacon. And Bernays took the study and forwarded it to other doctors who were like, yeah, we subscribe to a herd mentality. Let's follow this guy's advice. They started, but he included a sample of bacon to sweeten the pie.
Beechnut bacon,
right?
Even.
And all of a sudden, doctors are like, by the way, you should be eating more bacon for breakfast.
Because breakfast at the time, everyone's seen Mad Men, it was like a piece of dry toast, coffee, and a cigarette.
Right.
That was breakfast. The big hearty breakfast didn't come along until Edward Bernays made it so. And supposedly, he invented the expression, a meal that sticks to your ribs.
Evil genius.
Evil genius.
So, bacon, if you clap for it, you're about to feel bad for clapping for Edward Bernays, because this is about where Bernays' career takes a really dark turn.
A dark and successful turn.
So, should we go in the Wayback Machine again?
Yeah.
This time, everybody, we're going to Jamaica. Yeah.
1870, we're going way back.
Yep, there's a dude named Lorenzo Dow Baker, and he was the skipper of a ship called the Telegraph, and he showed up in Jamaica one day because he wanted some rum, which is pretty smart to do when you're in Jamaica in 1870. What else is there to do? And while he's sitting there at the bar drinking, some guy comes up and says, You want some bananas? I've got a bunch for 25 cents a bunch, right?
Yeah.
160, I think, is what he bought.
Yeah, he said, well, that's a heck of a price for bananas.
Yeah, I'm pretty drunk.
Yeah.
I'll take a bunch of bananas.
We don't have he was from Boston. He's like, we don't have a lot of bananas in Boston. I don't know if you know that. I bet I could sell these for a lot of dough. And he did. In 1870, he was reselling these bananas for up to $3.25 a bunch.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money back then.
There's a lot. He bought like half of the U.S. probably with his proceeds. We failed to go figure out how much that is in today's dollars, but it was a lot, believe us.
Someone out there is checking. They're on that website.
It's that guy.
So it worked out really well for Lorenzo Dow Baker, and by 1885, he had 11 ships flying under the banner of the Boston Fruit Company. They were bringing in 10 million bunches of bananas a year at this point. They became United Fruit and eventually became Chiquita Banana, which we all enjoy today, right?
Still today, don't you?
There were a couple of oohs, like, oh my God.
Not Chiquita. That's my favorite banana. I can't eat any of that other crap. It's got to be Chiquita.
It's the only banana.
So everything's going very, very well for United Fruit. And by 1940, they basically owned a number of countries. In fact, the term Banana Republic came from this idea that United Fruit ran the economy and essentially the government of countries in Latin America, including Guatemala. And by 1940, a guy named Sam Zemurray, who was known as Sam the Banana Man, was running United Fruit.
The best we can figure is that he had to have gotten that name after he worked there.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. He literally could have been born to become the head of United Fruit. Think about it. If you were interviewing people, wouldn't you give a second look to the guy named Sam the Banana Man?
Yeah, come on
in. If you're
in.
a fruit company?
Sam the Banana Man.
Oh, I like the...
I got to say, sir, you've got a leg up. So Sam Zemurray became the head of United Fruit, and they were selling tons of bananas at this point, but it wasn't enough. It's never enough. And so they controlled, like Josh said, much of Central America, owned all their bananas, and they weren't getting a lot in return, let's be honest. You know how it works. And he said, Mr. Bernays, I'd like to sell more bananas. I'm Sam the Banana Man, after all. I can't lose that name. That would be embarrassing. So how can you help us?
Bernays. Yeah. He said, okay, I got it. Hold on, I'm still thinking. Okay,
he said, wait till you see my prongs program.
Yeah. Have you heard about my prongs? So Bernays says, I think we should try to make bananas appear healthy. Maybe we'll sell them as kind of a health food, which they're not at all, actually.
That's not true. Bananas are completely healthy.
No, that's not true. That's actually Bernays at work right before your very eyes.
No, bananas are healthy. You're being coy.
Bernays.
That was the one honest thing he did, actually.
So bananas aren't healthy. Look it up.
That was prong one. I don't know if I'm going to count that as a prong.
That's a prong?
Okay, prong
Taking
one.
something that's patently unhealthy and saying it's healthy, that's a prong.
Prong number two, he said, you know what we need to do? I'm going to go on a banana assault in this country.
Full frontal banana assault.
I saw that movie. Yeah. And the sequel. It's very dirty. He said, let's get bananas. I want them in hotels. I want them in hotel lobbies. I want them in YMCAs. I want them on trains. I want them in airports.
Yep.
I want them in Boy Scout rooms all across the country. I want them in...
Wait. In a what room? In a Boy Scout room?
You wrote this, and it says Boy Scout.
It doesn't say Boy Scout room anywhere. I think you're having a seizure or something.
I want them in movie studios. I want them at Palm Beach. I want them at resorts. Bananas are everywhere, and people are like, have you noticed there's bananas all over the place?
Yeah, like movie studios.
I feel like I should be eating these a little bit.
Well, I hear they're very healthy. So maybe you should eat a bunch of bananas right now. I'll watch.
That was wrong. Man. I love Chicago.
Yeah, for real.
Detroit was just like, I don't get it. Well, now we can't release this show.
We can edit that part out, right, guys?
We'll lose all 400 of our Detroit fans.
So that's prong 2?
Prong 2. Prong 3 is, he said, I think what we can do to sell more bananas, I think if people had a connection to where bananas came from, they would be psyched about it. Kind of like later with the Chiquita banana lady, it's like, hey, that's kind of cool. Look at her. She's wearing bananas on her head.
Right. She's a weirdo.
So he set up one of his fronts, which he often did.
Yeah, he would pay professionals to put out an opinion that was prescribed by him that jibed with what he wanted him to say. And in this case, it was called the Middle America Information Bureau, which had nothing to do with the Midwest. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was talking about Latin America. Don't know why he called it that, but he did. So the Middle America Information Bureau was a Chiquita-backed, United Fruit-backed think tank. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing that they did was put out press releases about how awesome Latin America was. And how when you ate a banana on your lunch break, you could basically, now that you know about Latin America, take a little mini vacation to the tropics. Because you know about Latin America, because the Middle America Information Bureau has been putting out press releases to the newspapers, which are now printing them, because newspapers could not have cared less, apparently, at the time. So they would print banana-related stuff.
So this is great. This is working really well. The banana assault, full frontal banana assault, was working great. People are eating bananas, and you're like, we're supporting this economy down there. We're like feeding families by eating their bananas. Not true. Because...
Right, and have you seen the lady who wears all the fruit? Oh, I love that lady.
What was going on was there was a dictator in Guatemala, which is where they were getting a lot of bananas at the time, and a United Fruit ally named Jorge Ubico, and he was...
I feel like you should say that in your Italian accent for some reason. It doesn't make sense, but...
Jorge
No.
Ubico.
Doesn't work. Sorry, everybody.
Well, that was Latin flavored at least, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that was good, but
okay.
Italian, it wouldn't fit.
Man, I'm like a yo-yo with you. So he was in the... Jorge Ubico was clearly in the pocket of United Fruit because he was getting kickbacks, and he was like, yeah, man, come to my country, give me some dough. Who cares about all the people? They're just peons. Own all our land and just give me some dough. And he was not overthrown. He was taken out by popular vote.
I think it was actually overthrown, and then they held a popular election.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was like, you're out of here, pal, at gunpoint, basically.
Okay.
But the guy who came in after him was elected democratically and won 85% of the popular vote, which is, I don't think this probably ever happened legitimately in any kind of democratic election. He was a very beloved man named Juan Jose Arevalo, right? And he was a leftist. He definitely thought that one of his principal ideas was that he wanted to be able to create internal competition to United Fruit among Guatemalan farmers. His idea was, this is our land, these are our bananas, this is our population, we should be able to make money off of these bananas like United Fruit is. So, United Fruit, you can stay, but we're going to treat our people better from now on, and we're going to actually subtract some of your wealth by doing that. United Fruit didn't like that at all.
No, they didn't. One of the first things he did was United Fruit owned all this land, this fallow land that wasn't even being used. And he said, you know what? You bought this land from us for $3 an acre. I'd like to buy it back for the $3 an acre. I see your tax return says $3 an acre. So let's just do that. And United Fruit said, well, actually, it's more like $75 an acre now.
Just out of the blue.
Yeah. So let's just up the price on you. But he was able to get a lot of the land back. He was able to build some roads through the country and actually provide competition to the United Fruit, which would become Chiquita, which was not a good thing.
No, United Fruit was like, this is a really, really, really big deal. We've had total control over this country for half a century at least. And this guy comes along, and now he's stealing our land that we stole? No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not all right. So they went to their friends at the CIA and Edward Bernays and said, guys, what can you do? And they talked to the right guy, because Edward Bernays said, let's just overthrow the government. And they did.
Yeah. They literally overthrew the government, and he thought the first thing we have to do is we have to get the American people behind this, because you just can't overthrow a government without the people being behind it. So let me think about this. Aren't there a lot of communists in Guatemala?
Oh, yeah. And wait. Isn't the Soviet Union communist? We hate those guys.
Yeah, the Red Scare. And everyone's like, well, there really are no communists in Guatemala, actually. And he said, well, nobody knows that. So let's get all my friends in the magazine and put in the newspaper business to write a story about the brewing crisis in Guatemala.
Right. So
they're right at our door. They're just below Mexico.
In our
and
backyard.
That's just below Texas.
Right, yeah. In Texas, everybody. Texas. So this Middle America Information Bureau goes from putting out press releases about how wonderful bananas are to the brewing Soviet crisis in Guatemala. And the newspapers listened. They started reporting on this, and it became a really big deal that there was a Soviet threat in our backyard, just below Texas, again. And the American public got on board, basically.
Yeah, so once he had the American public support, he got in touch with a former lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army living in exile and said, why don't you get some CIA buddies together, and let's cross the border from Honduras with a couple of hundred men that are well-trained, and let's call it the Army of Liberation, and let's overthrow the government. And that's what he did, plunging Guatemala into a decades-long civil war, including genocide, all to sell bananas.
Bananas.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the appropriate response to that. So we said all this, and we said that we are still living right smack dab in the middle of this. Hopefully all this seemed vaguely familiar to you. And recently, I think in 2008, all of this idea took on a new name and new momentum. Have you guys ever heard of nudge politics?
Anyone? No?
Yeah, couple of people. So basically, nudge is this new thing. It's the new name for all of this, and it's the idea that people are stupid and that you have to have elite people figuring out what the best outcome is and then nudge people toward that outcome without people understanding that they're being nudged. Sounds familiar? Yes, it does. And as a matter of fact, this has recently, under a presidential executive order, become policy in the American government. And
that's right.
It seems kind of benign, a lot of it, right? Like I think
Sure.
the USDA is using nudge to, you'll get a prompt sometimes if you're printing and you're working at the USDA, and they'll say, don't forget to change your printer preferences to double-sided, which everybody loves double-sided printing. What's wrong with that? Nothing. But beyond this kind of benign idea, that nudge or that PR, the idea of this hallucination of democracy is harmless, or we can be nudged in the right direction, are two really important points. And one is that the people in charge know what the best outcome is. And the best outcome is often subjective.
Sure.
Like, we might not think that the best outcome is the same as the people who are deciding what the best outcome is. The second one is that the people who get to decide what the best outcome is has all of our best interests in heart. That's not necessarily true either. So you can easily go from two-sided printing to, no, you need to decide that the death penalty will never, ever go away no matter what you think.
Right. Or let's just make the easiest thing, like you have to opt out of organ donation. We're not saying organ donation is bad, mind you.
Yeah, we're not equating organ donation with death penalty or anything.
No. But things like opt-out clauses, like it's just included because it's for the benefit of everybody. It can get a little slippery, and a nudge becomes a little more like a shove when it's in the hands of the wrong person, which you have to really be careful about.
Yeah.
So that is, well, here we go. Let's finish up with this. Or not finish up. There's more. You would think after all of this.
Are you guys confused?
After Edward Bernays sold us bacon as the healthy thing to eat for breakfast and bananas as a healthy thing to eat all day long, and women should smoke cigarettes, and let's overthrow Guatemala to sell a fruit, he would have been in his hundreds on his deathbed and thought, you know what? I kind of regret some of the things I did in my career. Not true.
No. He couldn't even look up at that point.
He was interviewed by a guy from the New York Times when he was 100 years old, and he basically said, yeah, people are stupid dopes, and I stand by everything I did, and I had a pretty great career.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, his last words were, "Tell him I said they were stupid."
So that's Edward Bernays. That's his career, and we're going to finish out with a bit of a list that we like to do, a top 10 list that is always only 5 or 6 because it's us. Some of the worst PR disasters in history. And we're going to open up with one, U.S. Airways, not Delta. A few years ago, a young woman complained to U.S. Airways that her spring break was ruined.
Which, man, if you're in college, that's a big deal, you know? You only have one spring break a year.
Yeah, that's true. And they said, "We don't like to hear this, Alex. Please provide feedback to our customer relations team right here." And they left a link for all the world to click on. And that link went to a pornographic image of a woman with a model Boeing 747, and she was doing things with it.
That's a big plane.
Someone probably lost their job over that one. You got Philip Morris?
So we love picking on smoking because it's so easy. But you guys are familiar with Philip Morris, the big smoking tobacco giant. Apparently in 2001, the Czech government came up with a study that found, surprisingly, that smoking actually cost their economy money. And Philip Morris said, no. Let us commission our own study and find out what the real deal is. And they found and announced publicly, Czech government, you're wrong. We found that smoking actually saves your economy up to $30 million a year. And do you want to know how? By early smoking deaths. All that money you guys would have spent on health care, pensions, housing, you didn't have to because those smokers died early.
And they're like, this is a good study. Look at this.
Right. And Philip Morris was surprised by the blowback. They actually were like, we have other studies that we should probably cancel lined up in other countries because we thought this was going to be the thing that really drove home to everybody how great smoking is. I love that one.
All right. In 2002, Abercrombie and Fitch.
That's all you have to say.
Shirtless dudes. That's all I think about. And ironically, this is about T-shirts. They had a line of T-shirts that were racist in 2002, depicting Asian stereotypes. Well, what was one of the shirts?
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. Wong Brothers Laundry Service. 2 Wongs can make it white.
And they stood behind it. Their quote for this campaign was, "We personally thought Asians would love this T-shirt."
That was their corporate communications people that came up with that. That was the company's response to the blowback.
And not to be outdone, 1 month later, 30 days later, they released their line of thongs for 10 to 12-year-old girls. And their corporate communications response to that was, the underwear for young girls was, the intent was to be lighthearted and cute. Yeah.
Right? Everybody, have you guys heard of Coca-Cola? You guys have Pepsi up here, right? Well, we have Coke down south, and Coke is huge.
Right.
And Coke back in, I think, like the 90s, the early 90s, Coke had this thing called the Magic Can campaign. Does anyone remember that? So, okay, you, sir, can go to sleep for the next 2 minutes. So the Magic Can campaign was basically you'd pick up a Coke and you'd open it and a prize would shoot out toward your face.
Yeah.
That's not even the bad part.
It literally had a spring-loaded mechanism that would shoot out sometimes the prize was like $100, which is awesome.
Great.
Sometimes it was $1. So you would buy the Coke you wanted and open it to get $1 and then buy the Coke you wanted.
But have 30 cents left over.
Yeah, it's a net zero, I think, at that point.
It's close. So Coke had this thing going. They were very excited. Everything was going great. But the problem was that people were opening these magic cans and being like, oh, $1. Great. Thanks, Coke. And then taking a sip and going, right? Because the stuff inside tasted like poison. What is this? It tasted like chlorinated water. I better call my local poison tip line. And people did. And poison lines across the country started getting tips that you should not drink these magic can Cokes. And it became enough of a deal that Coke had to take out ads saying, like, don't drink the stuff in the magic can, which is not what you want to do if you're a beverage company, right?
You can go home on YouTube and look up Coke Magic Can, and there are commercials that say, the Coke Magic Can, that guy, if you open the Coke and something pops out, don't drink it because you won.
But seriously, don't drink it.
Did I mention not to drink it?
Right. So they genuinely had to take out ads saying this. That was bad enough, right? But then some people in the media started to think and went, Coke, why didn't you just put Coke in the magic cans?
You got a lot of Coke.
Yeah.
You're set up for Coke.
And
put
surely,
Coke in it.
Yeah. Coke.
Why chlorinated water?
Coke released a response, and they said, we didn't put Coke in the magic cans because it would dissolve the prize mechanisms.
$100 million campaign done. $100 million.
I love that one, too.
That is a good one. Heineken?
So you guys are familiar with Heineken? Did you know they own Strongbow cider? Did you guys know that? Well, Strongbow had a campaign where they wanted to honor the guy who founded the company. And apparently he founded it in like the 19th century. He's a Victorian dude.
Sure.
But they could not find a picture of this man to save their lives. And you can't have a print ad campaign if you don't have a photo. What the heck are you going to do? So they turned to a photo service like Getty Images or something like that. And they just randomly picked a great Victorian-looking dude. Most likely had the mustache, monocle, top hat probably, that kind of thing. And it would have worked in just about any other situation, but they happened to pick the picture of a guy named Hugh Price Hughes. And
yeah.
He was a very famous Methodist minister. And he was actually famous for his work with recovering alcoholics.
Out of all the people in the world, they picked an anti-alcoholic campaigner for the face of Strongbow cider.
To stand in for their founder.
All right, and finally, before our Q&A, we're going to finish with this.
Because we like to depress everybody at the end.
Our friend John Hodgman said, you know how to really go out with a bang?
Lift them up and then drop them down.
Drop them down at the end. So does anyone here remember, I spoke of Domino's Pizza earlier. You remember the Noid? Avoid the Noid?
Yeah.
You remember because it was successful for a while. The Noid, the creepy bunny-eared buck-teeth thing in a onesie that represented a Noid, that's what it came from, that your pizza wasn't there. They created this fun character.
Right.
It was neat.
And I mean, like, clearly it was a huge hit because you guys still remember this. We remember the Noid. And everything was going really great for the Noid and Domino's in general. Everybody just talked about the Noid around the water cooler. Like, husbands and wives would have pillow talk about the Noid.
Did you get that pizza really quick last night?
It was a big deal.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Love the Noid.
25 minutes.
So everything was going very well. And then in our own Atlanta, Georgia, in January 1989, a Domino's pizza was stormed by a man wielding a .357 Magnum, and he took the two employees working there hostage. And he engaged in a 5-hour standoff with police. And he very wisely ordered the two employees to make him pizzas the whole time.
Sure.
Seriously. And he had a few other demands. He wanted $100,000. Sensible.
Yes.
He wanted a getaway car with a full tank of fuel. Sensible.
Very sensible.
He wanted a copy of the Widow's Son.
Yeah, it was a novel about Freemasons. That was his Catcher in the Rye.
Right, and it's kind of a big giveaway, right?
Yeah, he must have left his at home.
Right.
Like, I really need this.
Right. So he apparently wasn't paying attention because at one point the two employees were like, well, I think we can sneak out the back. And they did. They left. And right when they did...
He was reading The Widow's Son.
I think he was. He's like, God, this book is so good. And then the police were like, swarm, swarm, swarm.
I don't think they say that.
No. But they did swarm, swarm, swarm. And it's a pretty good Seinfeld reference. And this guy was taken peacefully. I think he fired a round off or whatever. But he was taken, and he was taken before the court, and he was sentenced to a term in a psychiatric facility. Why?
Why? Because his name was Kenneth Lamar Noyd.
Yes. And, Chuck?
I know. And he thought Domino's Pizza was specifically tormenting him
Why?
with this ad campaign because he was a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah,
right?
is right? It gets
We're bringing him
way
down.
worse, man.
It does get worse.
It gets so much worse. So Domino's is facing a PR disaster. There was one headline the next day. Domino's hostages couldn't avoid the Noid this time.
I know. Those cheeky newspaper writers. They thought they were so clever.
So poor Mr. Noid is like suffering in a mental facility in Georgia, and finally...
Hey everybody, I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter, for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken.
Yeah, the times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. Built with a long-lasting battery so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it.
That's right. They don't build tech just for tech's sake. They build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
Years later, he's released. I think he moved to like Miami. And in 1995, he couldn't shake this idea that Domino's had specifically targeted him with their Avoid the Noid campaign. And he committed suicide. Yeah, which is pretty...
Perfect reaction.
Pretty awful.
In Detroit, they were like, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, ugh. Hey, I guess he shouldn't have been born Noid.
It's his fault.
So... it gets even worse, actually.
Yeah.
It gets worse than that.
That's right. In 2011, just 4 short years ago, on the 25th anniversary of the Noid, Domino's introduces a Facebook game called the Noid Super Pizza Shootout.
And that is PR.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming out, hanging out with us. Good night, Chicago.
Thank you, everybody. Y'all are awesome.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.